Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the 7th guest. We're at the end and we've found a way to the attic. Well, we found a way to the attic and instead when I went to the menu it took me back to the 2nd floor. That's, I guess, fair enough to see if maybe now I can see what is in the attic on the map before we end the game. I've painted myself into the slightest bit of a corner because this tells me that there, yeah, on the 2nd floor, I guess there is no other map because you can't click on it, or I haven't been there. Also seems like there really is no puzzle in the hallway, which okay. Yeah. But I painted myself into a corner. I kind of have to do the final puzzle. We've got 30 minutes to do it, and then any final thoughts, if there are any final thoughts. There certainly are some questions about just like spookiness and the lady in white. Who was she? What was she doing? For a story that seems like you are following the memories of an evil guy putting children in the body of dolls to, I guess, enslave their souls or trap their souls. You don't get a lot of children elements in this as far as the story. You get a little bit of a thing here. And no cutscene. There's just, let's see, one more puzzle, and then I guess when we do that puzzle it will let us go through that door. When I was playing Layers of Fear, I very much had the feeling that I would, guess there's no turning back. That's just a fully animated dog. Seems like you can actually go through there. Let's do the puzzle first. So did I come through that doorway? Yeah, Layers of Fear, throughout the house there was cold water. Just wouldn't run.
The house. This is trickier than it looks.
Okay, no clue what I'm even doing here. Am I trying to make the rows line up? Seems like I can only click on the bottom row. And what is this? Some kind of Tetris thing? Well, it seems like I think the plan
this
here
is trickier than it looks.
Is to turn on all the lights in every direction.
This is trickier than it looks.
Oh, again we just have a puzzle that makes no sense. Like it really is just not telling me. Do I have to click on something that's connected?
This is trickier than it looks.
I guess maybe that's it. So we click here, and then wherever I click it seems to go in directions. And then circles can be clicked on half circles, but only sideways. And then I kind of have to... What am I doing here? Am I looking at some kind of reflection?
This is trickier than it looks.
Alright. If I go back here, that loses because it's touching a light. But I can't go up here. I can't go this way. I can't go this way. I don't know. It's like... It seems like what would happen...
This is trickier than it looks.
Is maybe you start somewhere different. Seems like you kind of have to.
This is trickier than it looks.
Click here, click there, click there.
This is trickier than it looks.
Click here. I assume it wants us to go upward. Okay. Now what? You're still safe to do that.
Yes.
I have no idea what I just accomplished. No clue. So before we go further, back to the walkthrough, let me just understand what the puzzle's goal is. The aim of this puzzle is to start from the bottom of the house and move to the top by going from window to window. The direction that you take from each window is determined when you first move from that shaped window to another. I.e., if you start at a rectangle window and move left, you can only move left from a rectangle window from then on. There are 4 differently shaped windows which will need to be set in 4 different directions. Once a window has been set in a direction, it remains set until the end of the puzzle. Also, direction once a window has been set, when you land on that shaped window, the computer will automatically follow its own route that you have set. The house is in 3 levels and you have to pick a start window on each level. Okay. So, what did I start with? Like, I can't even look. So, theoretically, if I was to start with this and go up, that wouldn't work. If I was to, if this goes right and this goes up, that would work. But this also would have to go right, and this also would have to go right, and I don't think that's the case. Seems like maybe this is the right one, because let's say that this is programmed to go up and this is programmed to go left, and this is programmed to go up and this is programmed to go right, and then up, right, down, perhaps? Right? Down, right, up, up, up. Seems like that makes sense. Yep, and these are all pre-programmed, and that's why it's automatic.
So, my boy, your wits have brought you this far, but will you have the patience to go any further?
Okay, so I figured it out. Maybe also I looked at the answer, and yeah, I looked at the answer and saw it, but I didn't look at the answer of this part, at least not consciously. Maybe subconsciously I read it off my screen. This going up, this going right, this going up, this going right seems like the right move. This going right, this would go down. This going here would go left. If this going up would just put it back down and cause it to fail. I don't think there's any way you could get here. And honestly, I don't think there's a different way you could have programmed it. I think solving the first puzzle requires you to have each piece go in the directions we've seen. Now, is this supposed to be an indicator of the house we're in? Because that doesn't make a lot of sense unless there is an attic versus another attic. Yeah. And this doesn't particularly look like such a British house that it would have a cold water reservoir. I was talking about that in Layers of Fears, that the cold water wouldn't run. And I thought, oh yeah, of course we'll get into the attic at some point and find out that the cold water reservoir that are used in old British houses has been shut off or dismantled, or there was like a dead body in it or something. We never got in the attic in Layers of Fear. So that has nothing to do with this game, but I'm kind of surprised that I'm in the attic of one game when I was expecting to be in the attic of another. Let's go ahead and click on this.
No!
But that's a 4-story building.
Help me! Someone please help me!
Get up!
I can't
Run
move.
away!
I can't. I looked over here and something happened. Oh, someone please help me.
So, who's that guy?
Come here, you little one.
Oh, that's the lady.
One last puzzle. Someone help.
And then the game goes really quiet. And we can chatterbox or we can go forward. See what the chatterbox does. Hopefully this doesn't just fast travel me back into the main area. That is just an incredibly slow animation. Incredibly slow. But that would also be like stop motion animation, and generally speaking, I guess what you would have done is you would have done that backwards. Or at least part of that backwards. You don't pick up these scissors. It sure feels like a modern game you would pick up these scissors and do something with them. I guess this is the way to go, and I guess the back way that's barred is the way back. Now, according to the walkthrough, I didn't see another puzzle.
Let me go.
It's okay, darling. You know I won't hurt you. Just come upstairs.
It hasn't happened yet.
Let me. No! Let me.
It's happening now. I've been here before. I've seen all this over and over.
Help me! Someone, please!
Tried to help myself. Always failing.
You little brat.
So we've been playing as the boy, the 7th guest, the whole time. Probably in a doll. Would certainly explain why a doll could reach such small areas. So we look in the mirror, and boy, is that just like rotten graphics to even explain that, yeah, you're looking at the ghost of yourself. Okay. I guess we're going this way. That's just incredibly dark.
The smell.
Looks like full video too.
I can't breathe.
Bring him here! I brought him, the one you wanted, the guest. Someone, please, help me!
I'm not going.
I just want to get out of here. My wish, I'll get my wish. Oh, what the?
And just vomits.
You cheated me! You
just vomited acid. Like, man, they are just throwing things at the wall. And a cartoony tongue grabs him.
I can't do anything. You're not real. I swear.
Looks like the video is either jumping around or being looped. Now, like, demon tentacles drag him to hell? The skeleton of the bad guy? The hell?
You saved me. It's all been changed now. Now and
Forever.
How has it changed? What weird magic is this? I guess they just wanted you to have a good ending. Yeah, to the game. That's just like pathetically tacked on good ending. Volume 1 of the 7th Guest. Which is kind of not true because the 11th Hour didn't, to my knowledge at least, ever come out and get labeled as the 7th Guest Volume 2, the 11th Hour. It was just called the 11th Hour. Interesting music. And see, you can see these are some old school programmers. Somebody didn't even want their photo there, instead just showed a picture of themselves. We're gonna see that there's probably less than 10 people that even worked on this game. And a doctor. You know, you don't see too much of that. Like, the most famous doctor in video games these days actually is a PhD medical doctor that decided to run a video game company. Whereas most other people, they don't really talk about credentials. One assumes they have a bachelor's degree, maybe a master's degree, but people don't stay in school to make video games or program. It's really not necessary. Hands-on experience is better. 20 years ago, they have every right to be proud of this game. But, you know, in mainstream video game players' world, this is just not a game that you can play. And it desperately needs a remake. But what do you remake? You're gonna have to tell a whole new story. Seems like what they're doing is they're listing people under several different titles. Artists and 3D models also being programmers or producers. Yeah, you would need to tell a completely different story. You would need to get some real actors. And have those real name actors play out in at least 2 hours worth of acting, so you're basically making a movie. Nah. Some of these listings are just jokes. And so I imagine all of these characters that were in we saw weren't just actors. And boy, almost certainly most of them are dead at this point, or very, very old. And here you can see a list of just random people. Apparently there was an Elvis that was supposed to, that I would have seen. I guess I missed some of this stuff. And this, of course, was made by Virgin Interactive, a very big name in CD-ROM games back in the day. I don't believe they still exist. If anything, they probably were acquired by at least 2 or 3 different companies and very possibly are part of something like Electronic Arts or Ubisoft or something like that. I could do the research. Let's see, they stayed at the Bates Motel. That's probably a joke. Interactive drama was created by Groovy. So they don't even want to call it a game. They want to call it an interactive drama. And
Back for more?
okay, that's the 7th guest. Maybe I'll have enough of time to next year. Maybe I'll have enough motivation to play the 11th hour. Let's assume that the 11th hour is even 4 years older in development than this was. I imagine this was quite the sleeper success or surprise success to Virgin Interactive, and so the 11th hour probably does have some more polish, does have a better story, does have better puzzles, but I bet it doesn't get too far from the game we've seen here. It's probably still wandering around someplace and solving puzzles and seeing a story. The fan-made sequel that was kickstarted, as compared to the official remake of the 7th guest failing to get kickstarted, the fan-made sequel, The 13th Doll, is supposed to come out this Halloween. I think seeing how the story is kind of just nothing, and it really is just a horror show, that there very well may be some kind of recap video or something at the beginning of the 13th Doll, or it just won't matter at all. I cannot see how anything that happened in this first game really matters. You probably aren't going to be playing as Tad in the 11th hour. And you probably aren't going to be playing as Tad or have any mention of Tad in the 13th Doll. It's just going to be the same aesthetics. And I do like the aesthetics, the idea of creepy dolls and magic and such. It definitely needs to be focused into something. And certainly there is the Puppet Master series of cheesy movies that at times had a focused narrative as far as why there were souls trapped in dolls, and sometimes they went really crazy with that too and lost their focus. Here, skeletons appearing out of nowhere, creepy clowns appearing out of nowhere. At a certain point, this feels like this is just a horror simulator. And you know what? If this was an actual horror simulator running in VR, then that would make more sense why there's so much random stuff. But it hurts the story so badly. There's nothing believable you can say that makes the bad guy capable of vomiting up green goo and having a lizard tongue and having creepy clowns and having dolls and just having all of this happen just because he knows magic or what. There needs to be some rules, some limitations, so it just doesn't fall into the realm of ridiculousness. We're gonna go ahead and just end 6 minutes early, and there's no point to stretch this out to a full 30 minutes. There's not a ton to say. I will say that I'm glad not every single puzzle became incredibly difficult like the pantry puzzle did. That one was insanely crazy. The microscope puzzle, insanely crazy. A lot of the other ones that I skipped or used the hints on really are because I was frustrated with the early on puzzles. This is totally one of those games that was stretching for time and trying to make it feel like you paid enough. You were getting enough content for the amount of money you paid. But yeah, a modern version of this game would have been closer to 2.5 hours. Just quickly get us through that story. Have us do some simplistic puzzles. Don't make us do an 18 note piano puzzle. That one was insane too. As for that wall that disappears and reappears, I'm assuming that that's a bug. But clearly it didn't matter in the main story. Either it disappears and reappears, or maybe that was just a fast travel to the attic and back. I don't know. Yeah, really not a lot more to say. That's the 7th guest. It is what it is. Time to move on to another game. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, I'm asking people to friend me on Steam and either gift me a gift card or give me a game. You can pick any game you want to see me cover or just one off my wish list. Or if you happen to have a code from a different store, a Steam code, you can send that to me through Twitter direct message. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.